Okay, welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art, and again we are doing some more Lord of the Rings Online book quests, and I thought, you can see my stupid face in the corner of the screen, I thought I would do this a little differently just to give, I don't know, maybe it's a little peek on how the sausage gets made of one of these sessions. I can't hide any interruptions, I can't hide things I need to cut around. Not that I normally do a good job of that anyway, but yeah, the dirty laundry is all just going to be laying there in the middle of the front lawn. So we're going to be doing, I think it's Volume 2, Book 9. We did Volume 2, Book 8 last time, which took us deep into Moria. We did some Tomb Raider light puzzle quests where you reflect things off mirrors. We destroyed like these sort of Palantir kind of things that have been planted, I think, by Mazog or whatever the guy's name is, to sort of summon evil. And then we took out a big bad. And I think now we really are moving toward Mirkwood. So, this isn't good. 5 minutes in and my voice is already like, yeah, what are we doing here today? But I wanted to start by having this little letter come up. Again, 64-bit servers. My experience with them so far has been fine. Good. I shouldn't just be like, it's fine. They've been good. But I know for a lot of like the kinships out there, a big part of it was the housing. And it looks like housing is starting to come over. They're giving you, looks like, a credit of 26 weeks of prepaid upkeep. Telling you where to find stuff. Anyway, so it sounds like they're starting to, figure out that process. And they're sort of trying to help the players out a little bit by, giving them a little bit of a credit. So kudos. Again, as a filthy casual, housing's not going to be a big deal. Maybe at some point I should just buy a house. I think on one of this has sort of become my main, but my main before was like a level 80 something warden. I think I did buy a house there just to see what it was like. And I know it's something that can sort of like be a money sink and give me something to do with all that cash. Anyway, yeah, so let's get into Book 9. Talk to Braylon at Imlad Lalaith. Braylon is at Imlad Lalaith on the shores of the Anduin in Lothlorien. You've been told to speak with Braylon about Brachlin, about the crossing of the Golden Host into Mirkwood. So yeah, I think we held on to the Mazog guy. I think we were given a choice, like, do you want to kill him or keep him? And I think I kept him as a possible hostage trade with some of the dwarves that have been taken to Mirkwood. So let's make our way there. Let's see where we got to go. Okay, so we're going to the far side of Lothlorien. So maybe we are really getting into it. What I might do is I might go from there to there, and then let's figure it out. I don't want to just click the button right away, even though I probably should on some degree, because again, you can sort of see there's daylight behind me. It's a Sunday morning. And the big thing for me with recording CRPGs, what made them easy is that, if I'm not on camera, it's not a big deal if I have to stop, start, go change the laundry, help somebody with like a tech thing, like the computer didn't plug in the right way they expected, or there's a question on the homework. It's just, there's ways I can sort of mask all of that. And here, right now my daughter's asleep, my wife is catching up on a little bit of work, and so I thought, let me just give it a shot recording, and if I get through it all, I get through it all, and if I don't, I'll just sort of pull the curtain back on piecing this together, which is why it can be tricky. A couple weeks ago, I wasn't able to. We had to miss a week, and I wasn't able to record a solo session of. I'm in the middle of doing the One Ring to this has gotten me back into it, baby, and the reason why is because I don't like to do actual RPG sessions in chunks if I can help it. Unless it's... I mean, I guess like in the Alone in the Dark stuff, that's not quite as bad because it's sort of choose your... But when I have to sort of... Karen Amroth. If I have to get into it, so to speak... Where is this place? Meckham Bizru. Why am I... I feel like I've unlocked this one, so why can I not get there? That's taking me back. Why can I not get... There's that. Vineyards of Lorien. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm not just going to teleport with a coin, but I will coin auto travel. But yeah, when I'm doing a CRPG, I don't, I want to focus, so I don't lose track of the narrative I'm trying to build. I want to be able to really have that be the only thing I'm doing in the moment. CRPGs, it's usually not that mentally taxing. Mentally taxing is a strong way to put it, but I hope you know what I mean. Like when you're really in the flow of an RPG, I feel like I'm using more of my brain, more of my creative energy than when I'm reacting to the video game in front of me. I'm also trying out a couple of different things. I don't know if I've talked about... I talk about everything over and over because I'm old, but we use at the moment Riverside FM to record our podcast when the three of us are online, or two of us, or whatever. And the last session that I recorded, I think my video is... It's not going to be a huge deal because it's just a little box in the corner, but my video is going to be weird. And... Oh, this is interesting. And my video has been weird the whole time with Riverside. Like, I've never had a good experience with Riverside when I'm using my PC. Now, my PC is pretty beefy, I think, by most standards. Although what's interesting here is the FPS is all over the place. Dropped down to like 60, it's at 90. Usually I'm getting like 120, 1 something. And I think the reason why, anyway, and so I'm trying to figure out, like, can I just stop using these programs entirely? Stop paying for it. Like, StreamYard worked great, but they jacked their prices up. So we switched to Riverside, and it was my bad. I was like, I'll be the one to spearhead this. Let's try Riverside. Never had a good experience with it. And, so I invested into some vMix, and the vMix is the one I don't know if I've talked about before. So what I'm trying here is I'm trying to record this with vMix. This is, I think, the first time I've done it for a CRPG. And, vMix is pretty good about letting you easily choose the formats. They don't give you quite as much control over bit rates if you do, like, MP4. You can't do AV1. But actually, DaVinci Resolve sometimes chokes on AV1, so that's not the end of the world. But I'm trying this as a ProRes QuickTime. And, ProRes QuickTime cannot be hardware accelerated on PCs the way it can be on a Mac. Looking at a map, that's the problem. And even with the hardware acceleration on the Mac, I don't know... I've tried OBS with QuickTime on a Mac, and it's not like it's totally smooth sailing. But because on a PC, it's not going to have hardware acceleration. My CPU usage is about 30% on vMix. And I feel like it's actually impacting my frames per second here in game, because I'm 70, 80... I've seen a few dips below 60. I don't know if it's just... if vMix is the culprit because I'm not using hardware acceleration. Or if it's just the areas. Maybe they're not as optimized, or they're more visually dense. Not sure. And honestly, like, I don't even know if it matters, you know, because again, like vMix doesn't allow you to control, like on OBS, I could set a bit rate of like, you know, 150,000. If I were going to do like a H.265. In vMix, I think I can only go up to 75,000.
I had begun to wonder if you would not wish to be part of the first crossing.
And I don't know if even any of that matters, to be honest with you, like once YouTube gets its compression on it. But, you know, you always want to start with the best possible source you can. And so that's why I was giving a shot here. And now here you can see like FPS is like 100-ish, because I'm not moving around much. But you've come at last, Black Lodge. I'd begun to wonder if you would not wish to be part of this first crossing, but I'm pleased to see this is not so. See you the River Anduin? Its currents are strong, though this be calm enough to place a calm enough place to cross. And once we land on the far shore, we will need to be ready for anything. The landing may be uneventful, but then it may be tumultuous indeed. It will be up to Fuergram on the other side of the Anduin to ensure that all goes as smoothly as it may. Once we are secure on the beaches, I will arrange for a second crossing to bring the company that will escort our prisoner to Dol Guldur. Are you ready to travel upon the first boats across? Speak with Kalangoth down on the docks when you're ready. Anyway, so we're going to see, I mean, like I could set up OBS to do ProRes as well, but like this vMix is just a much cleaner interface on that front. Where am I going? Going back. So I was just kind of curious to give this a shot. The other thing that vMix allows you to do, and I'm wondering if this is part of why the CPU is spiking, but I thought maybe not. You know, so here I am on camera. And again, OBS can do this if you run a second instance of OBS, but here we go. But I think it's automatically recording my camera as a raw source as well as the combined game. Here we go. We are in Mirkwood, ladies and gentlemen. We're here on the western part of Mirkwood in the Mirk Eaves. Just gonna side-eye my Mirkwood Middle-earth supplement from Iron Crown Enterprise. Let's start getting into this. What I like about the idea of this is we're back to... One, we're outdoors, and two, we're back to like camps on the edge of the fight, like when you're sort of like in the forward positions in Angmar, you know, like you are right there, you are on the front lines. It's time to get serious. So the person, is it up the hill? So I'm just kind of curious to see how all this goes, but yeah, Riverside just has not worked out for me. My duty is to provide Fuergram with whatever assistance he requires to organize this assault. Can I help you?
Will you lend me your ear?
Okay. Black Lodge, there are a pair of orc fortifications defending the banks of the Anduin, one which they call Durbur's Stags, lies immediately to our north. The other, Falug, a bit further to the south. One of our first objectives here is to eliminate these two fortifications so that our landing can continue unimpeded. We need you to bolster our forces attacking the encampments, particularly the assaults upon their gates. You must choose one of them to assault. You cannot be in two places at once. Take its gate and hold it for as long as you can. We will send reinforcements there as soon as possible. Okay, board. So this is Book 9's forward, okay. Let's assault some boats. Board Kalangoth's boat. Wait, do I gotta go back to the other side? Alright, so we have to choose north or south. South is here, right on the river, and maybe taking that hold more strategic advantage. as if any of it actually matters in that regard, but the actual answer, I mean, I can actually get Riverside to work flawlessly. And the way is to just do it all on a Mac. But on a Mac, you know, they have their own deed. Their own deed. I was thinking of deed. They have their own they have their own app, which is more efficient than, you know, just running in a browser. And just for whatever's going on in my, you know, setup, I guess my setup's more simple on a Mac. The issues I have just go away. But I built Ice Station Zebra, the production studio here in New Jersey, to be able to, you know, kick some ass at this kind of stuff. Even though it's kind of interesting to see, yeah, like I'm not getting 120 frames per second and running vMix with ProRes, so that makes sense. But I could easily rectify that with H.265, and I probably should do some tests to see what the source looks like at H.265. Like, does it even matter between the two? That'll have to be the next book quest. Anyway, it's been, oh, I fled, what? Oh my god, I was kicking too much ass and I got too far away from, oh my goodness. So what do I do? Alright, so I guess I go try the north gate and see if I don't screw that one up. I'm gonna pull back and, and you know, and I mean, the dumb thing is I have a Mac I can use. It's just like, what am I doing? Like, why is this? And basically, the problem is that I can't be guaranteed smooth, stable camera inputs on Riverside. If it's here, like locally, obviously it's going to be smooth 60 frames per second. Riverside's 24 frames per second. Can't guarantee it. It's always a mess. Let me try this again. It's dumb, and it's like, you know, I can get it to work, but like, yeah, all I have to do is shut everything, like close every app, and then completely reboot my computer, and then have nothing running and open up Riverside in a single browser tab. So the only thing running is that browser tab. Then I'll have Riverside tell me that it can't access my camera and microphone because it's being used by something else. So then I reboot the computer again and go through the whole process. and hope it works that time. So let me see what happens if I go click over here. And it's just like, oh my god, like... Yeah, let's retry.
Mind my words, traveler.
I'm gonna stick with the southern thing. Let's retry this. This time I'll make sure I stay by the gate. And so then after I get Riverside to not freak out about my camera and mic, then it might show up and be like 2 frames per second choppy on the camera. So it's not that it's quote unquote registering as being used, it's just not working at all. And then after that, I'll reboot the computer again and, you know, re-enter the studio, and eventually I'll get an instance where Riverside is smooth and it'll register at 1080p 60 FPS, even though it doesn't run in 1080p 60 FPS. Riverside only records at 24 FPS. Okay, so now we're going to take the gate and defend it. So I'm just going to hang out here. So I don't know how far I'm supposed to go. So then once I get that, and then here's where, so that is independent of my own stupid bullshit that I like to do on the back end of recording sessions. So then once I do that, the next step that I want to do is I want to record the gameplay window at as high a resolution as possible. And usually what I do is H.265, or now that I'm moving over to vMix more, QuickTime, which, you know, the last Lord of the Rings the One Ring Strider session I did was my first time doing it in vMix. And, you know, the source material for that was QuickTime files for the screen and H.265 for my camera. Recorded them separately if I needed it for YouTube short without having to run multiple OBS instances. Okay, so we gotta hold the gate for another 57 seconds. Nope, wrong button. I need to heal. And then, so when I'm running Riverside, then what I would do is I would open up an instance of OBS and only record the screen. Now, sometimes, because I'm in Riverside, it's got control of the camera. The camera is smooth. In theory, it's all good. 1 second. We did it. We held the gate. Let's kill this dude. So OBS opens. Not using the camera, but I understand that, you know, maybe it's accessing the camera just to be safe or because it might need it. I don't know, because some scenes, whatever. So now it's a chance again for Riverside's camera input to just totally choke and go back to 2 frames per second. If I'm unlucky, I start the whole process over, shutting everything down, rebooting the computer. Because refreshing Riverside, closing the tab, reopening the tab, that doesn't work for me, even though that is a suggested tip to try. Doesn't work for me, so it's a total reboot. And eventually I get an instance where both camera is smooth and I'm able to have OBS open to record the screen. Well fought. Now that the enemy is pinned within their fortifications, we can work on destroying them together. Let's do it.
Stay a moment.
Battle goes well so far, but the orcs in the nearby fortresses are proving tenacious. It seems they have also laid in supplies for a prolonged siege should it come to that, but we cannot afford to be tied down here for so long, or the might of Dol Guldur shall push us back into the Anduin. We bid you fight your way into those camps and destroy their supplies. This will both weaken their defense and ensure that none of them are able to retreat with valuable stores. Okay. Okay, so you're sort of seeing like hey, we had a quest that just sent you there. We're going to have a quest that sent you back there. And you probably could have done both at the same time, but this milks it into two separate bits of content. Anyway, so then, yeah, so if I get the two instances, OBS and Riverside, both smooth, in theory, I'm good to go. Until last time. And the session was with me, Matt, and Patrick. We did a Cold War spy game. At the time of this recording, it should be out a few days later. And the audio's fine, the game is fine, it's just I'll max headroom a little bit every once in a while. So that had never happened before. And I've tried and they're tech support's hey, we noticed that you were using an interface for your camera, which I have to because I have a DSLR. I mean, I don't have to. I could get lower quality plugging it directly into my computer's USB camera, but it's dumb, but you don't invest in a mirrorless DSLR to then do 720p input over USB, right? And so then they forwarded me to hey, check out this webpage and this video for best practices. In the video and the webpage it says, hey, you should use a camera interface if you have a mirrorless DSLR, blah, blah, blah. So I've tried USB interfaces like Camlinks, AverMedia, a couple of different AverMedia USB interfaces, and I've tried PCIe interfaces that, are capable of doing 4K 30 or 4K 60 PlayStation recording. So it should be able to handle a 1080p camera. It's just and at some point, what it turns into is just Jesus, how much time am I going to waste trying to accommodate Riverside? When it works, it's fine, except for the 24 frames per second recording. I'd prefer that to be minimum 30. 60 would be... I think StreamYard only did 30, so... but that's kind of and part of it is because they're yeah, we want to ensure because that way everybody has a stable frame rate. And you're the only one I know of that does 24 instead of 30. Maybe they all do, but... so yeah, I was looking into vMix. That's the TLDR, and vMix allows me to do all the call-in stuff. I just need to learn how to do it completely smooth. I have it set up so that we could do a full live recording. That makes sense, intro, fade into us talking for a bit, fade into the game. We could do the sessions exactly as they're edited now in real time. I don't know if it'd be any good, but I'd have to practice, but we could do it. We could put it on Twitch. We could, I wouldn't have to edit video. There's a lot of things we could do. with a little more practice. The only downside is that we don't have a cloud backup if something goes wrong. It's all on my computer. And so I don't know if the best thing is to, fuck it, we'll do it live, everything, or just get the bare minimum recording of our cameras and keep editing it to minimize whatever taxing things are happening when you're doing the full production. But that's part of why I wanted to give this a shot in vMix, because the more I put it through its paces, the more I... Okay, so this is a test of a video quality and CPU load if I'm doing blah. And then I've done tests of like going from the intro into like a 3-person whatever, but I've never had Matt and Patrick on. It's always been just me. You know, locally recording and putting the video feed into 3 separate places to see how it looks. 5 of 8, so there's a couple more. So the next step in that front is hopefully I can get Matt and Patrick at some point to like give me 20 minutes, just do a quick test. See how it actually works on their end, if it's viable. And then, you know, have the feed live so I can correctly add it to the list of stuff in vMix. Get it all worked out. And then, you know, in a perfect world, what I think it could do, what I think vMix could do, is you would have what you're sort of seeing now, the finished product, except it would be, you know, the web interface with Foundry, me, Matt, and Patrick all at the same time. Our audio streams would be recorded on separate tracks so I could level and do whatever I need to. So that would be good. And then, this is the cool thing about vMix. I think it could also then automatically record clean feeds of all 3 cameras. So I'd have that as backup. So it would be a total of 4 feeds. The finished product, the broadcast, so to speak, and then 3 clean camera feeds. And again, the only trick is that it would all be on my computer. You know, there's no backup. There's no cloud this or that. There's no local recording like you get with the online services. But you also don't have to pay $200, $300 a year every year for the rest of the time. You know, it's just... it'd be good to go. And also that's a part of I hate subscription stuff like that. Especially when it's just not working the way I hope. And I don't, you know, I don't want to say like, you know, like F Riverside, because like this stuff is hard. Tech support is hard. Everybody's system is different. I get that my system is a little intense. You know, I've got a ton of stuff plugged into it. I've got like 2 PCIe capture cards plugged in, you know, the 4K AverMedia Gamer ones. I've got, you know, another capture device on my Roland Bridgecast. Like, it could be anything. Although I did have the same problem when I had a Rode Procaster 2, so I don't think it's the HDMI on the Bridgecaster. Maybe it is. Who knows? You know, again, I don't think anybody knows. But I get it. I get that my system has a lot of crap going on. And, you know, I've upgraded drivers, I've reinstalled my operating system, I've upgraded my hardware. Done a lot of stuff, you know, to try and have it be overkill for my little 1080p camera, but none of it worked. So, with Riverside, again, StreamYard never had a problem.
What do you need?
All right, the supplies have been destroyed. Well done. Without the supplies of arrows and provisions, the orcs will not be able to hold out much longer, and the rest of our forces are coming ashore and moving further into the forest as we speak. I like this. It's, you know, like a little D-Day going on. All right, so we've done that. That's the forward.
Will you lend me your ear?
Oh, not quite. Now we got to kill some leaders. The orcs and goblins here are driven by Uruk war leaders who drive them into battle. Without these strong leaders to threaten and lead them into battle, the rest will fall. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go kill these guys. I don't know why this needs to be a forward. Yeah, these feel like they could just be, you know. So I feel like we're going back to the two camps, and then we're going to go deeper. Okay. But yeah, in the end, vMix, you know, allows me to cancel the subscription at some point or just not re-up it and then do everything on my own at hopefully a better quality. But then it's more, you know, dependent on my internet connection, the ability of Patrick and Matt to connect to my internet, or figuring those kinds, like a lot of those issues then fall onto me. There we go. Surgical like a scalpel. What I like about this is it sort of reminds me, it's a little bit of like, you know, running around the Bree lands, except everything's dead. So it's the same kind of vibe, you know, the woods, the forest, the trails. It's not like Angmar where it's just like through stone passages cut in hills and like a nuclear bomb went off. This feels like it's a couple of steps back from where Angmar ended up. It's heading there if we're not careful. I think I got to go around the campfire and then up the hill. Anyway, so that's a long bunch of crap about crap. Okay, we're coming up to the other base. Let's just at least get a chance to see what this one's like. because I'm cheesy, if you're, again, watching this, which is the only way to consume this, I forgot that this is not going to be a podcast. You know, I recently mentioned I got like this cheesy little plate for my microphone. And then I decided, let me get this like windscreen and the blue that we use. And I got to say, like it's great. It's fine. But for like when you breathe like permanent markers, it's had that sort of smell on it for as long as I've had it, like the last week or two. So it still makes me like a little woof. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I'd love for it to dissipate a lot quicker. So maybe it was just the area, because now I'm getting like 115, 112. Like I'm getting the frames per second that I expect. Even with like a 33% CPU usage on vMix. And again, that's only because I'm trying to record this as a ProRes QuickTime. Trying to see. There we go. Oh, there's the... I was like, where's the gate? There's the gate. Let's pop this guy. So I'll be curious to see, though, like, am I getting the 60 frames per second I'm hoping on the actual video? I'm not seeing any warnings. Maybe I just don't have it turned on in the right place to see the warnings if something's going wrong. And so maybe this whole session might be lost or a waste, but see how it goes. All right, let's just get out of here. I might have to deal with these guys chasing me, but at least... Oh, maybe not. So yeah, at some point, like the first sausage gets made is I'll probably have to go switch the laundry. And you're saying like, as a 50-year-old man, basically not have any clean laundry. And as what I'm always wearing, it's like, does he even need clean laundry? The guy dresses like a bum all the time. But you're not wrong on any of those fronts. But I do need, but I don't have any more clean clothes. So that must be remedied so I can do simple things like run out and get bagels. The front I present to the entire world on the internet is my trash bag hobo look, but when I do go out, I do put on some real clothes. Well done. Your skills in battle match even those of the Maladrim. With most of their Uruk leaders fallen, the remaining forces of the enemy shall soon be driven back to Dol Guldur. Step one of the prison swap is to invade and completely take over, and then knock on the front door. All right, let's see what the next part is. More forwards.
Mind my words, traveler.
Okay, we're going to ensure the commanders of Dol Guldur cannot get the reinforcements. We're going to make gates useless. Okay. Nope, I was already on horseback. Let me just see what happens if I take all three. Engines of war, we're going to destroy catapults and Bastille, and defeat Tagash riders. Okay, I'm not going to read every bit of the description, I apologize. I like the walls of text, so to speak. I just, it ends up being a lot. But you get the gist. Basically, you know, we've got to jam up their ability to send reinforcements by blocking the gates. We've got to destroy, like, their more heavy-hitting capabilities with the catapults and ballistae. And got to kill the riders because we need to disrupt their communications and et cetera, et cetera. And also because they're probably their fastest moving units, and this allows us less interdiction as we move through the areas. I don't know if I want to be down below or if I want to take this ridge line and then somehow get... I don't know if I'll be able to get over. But let's get on horseback, move a little quicker. Getting to the gates of Dol Guldur, we're getting in there. But I was testing to see, like, is the actual object big enough that I could be on the opposite end of it, still activate it, kill it, whatever, and not trigger the fight. It seems like that's the case. Also, I imagine... Oh, that's the other war leader I probably could have taken out. I just saw another player exit here. It looked like some kind of, like, dwarf something. And so maybe he's already cleared most of the... Might not be able to get him there. And that's the other thing, you know, yeah, this is proving... It's not every day you see this. I guess we'll just do this all day, because eventually I'll outgun him. The other thing you have to do is when you... Again, I was trying to get as many of the features I have in OBS into vMix, and one of them is being able to mark, like, mark a clip. Gotta destroy another ballista. And so that was, and vMix has no ability to do that. And OBS only does if you use their hybrid MP4 beta, whatever. You can't do it on any file format except that hybrid MP4. But in vMix, and in OBS, there was like, maybe I could do the same thing in OBS, but like in vMix, what a lot of people, the user said is, yeah, what you do is you set up an audio file and you give that audio file its own audio track. And of course, since it's separate, you don't record it to the master audio stereo output. It just has its own split track. And then it creates like a waveform and you can see the mark. I'm like, oh, that's, okay. So you have this one track that's just sort of this marker guide track. And again, yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do that in OBS, and maybe I should investigate that because that would have let me do it on any file format. But I wonder if this counts. But yeah, so I was able to bring that over, that sort of capability, so to speak, over as well. Okay, that does count. Nope, didn't mean to do that. So I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that another ballista would like sort of respawn here and I could just take it out because I'm not sure if I missed one or if I'm meant to go to another camp. I don't think that's the case though. It's telling me engines of war are here. Oop. So I feel like I've missed one somewhere and I just don't know where. Am I just missing? Like, I don't... Am I not seeing... Oh, okay. There we go. The other thing I sort of changed out my monitors a while ago, and I've got like a 32-inch 1440p. 32-inch 1440p, that's too big for 1440p. So I'll be curious someday. Like 32-inch 4K is sort of what you need. It's a little fuzzy. But the main reason why I stay with 1440p is because of this game. So this is one of the things I need. But I wonder, like, could I even do 4K 60 at a good resolution, at good quality settings? I would hope for this game, yes, because it's old, and for like the CRPGs like Darklands and Ultima 5, I hope it wouldn't matter at all. But, I was running like Dragon's Dogma for a little bit. Would that have been doable? There we go. So I might have to make do with 1440p for a while, because I think, I tend to do slightly older, but I was doing Dragon's Dogma 2 for a while, and I should get back into that at some point. It's turning into a mess. Okay. All right, I need one more rider. Destroyed everything else. Maybe I can find a rider on my way out. There we go. No, no, no. Get back here. Barely got the interrupt off there. That's good. Not that I know what the interrupt is necessarily stopping, but if I can jam them up, why not? Okay, so I think we got everything. Who's
What can I do for you?
Okay, so we've slowed them down a little bit.
Make your
Engines of war, they'll begin the assault shortly. Before night falls, the Merc Eves shall be in our hands.
What can I do for you?
And then the feral flankers, with our soldiers free to maneuver in small bands again, the orcs will be pinned down. So yeah, it was maneuver, that makes sense.
Stay a moment.
Hilltop assault. Completing this quest will end the assault upon the Merc Eves. So any quests you've not yet completed in the area will be cancelled and will know. Oh, interesting. So this is sort of an instanced. Is that what this is telling me? Yeah, so this is sort of its own thing. And so they're going to sort of... Okay, good. This is something I was talking about. Like, Star Wars The Old Republic sort of uses instances to, you know, dynamically change the landscape as the story progresses. So let's give it a shot.
The Golden Host is preparing to bring the first act of their invasion on Mirkwood to a close with an all-out assault upon the hill overlooking the landing.
Fuergrim must survive. Now is the time for us to strike. The Uruk commander atop the fortress within is our target. Should he fall, so falls the fortress to our claim. If you are prepared in body and mind, then I shall begin the assault. Let's do it. Forwards, Maladrim, let the attack begin. See if a boar's fresh is... Yeah, it hit them both. Nice. Ooh, here we go. My gambit's all over the place, so let's fire that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. Get some bleeds going. So I did a test with Lord of the Rings Online footage, not on this main, on an alt. And it seemed to work okay, so I'm hoping that means this is okay, but I did not do it for like more than 5 minutes, so we'll see how hours of footage works. And to make sure like my hard drive was cleared off enough. That's the other thing is, you know, like trying to do it with ProRes, I gotta think more about my storage. SSD prices are starting to drop, but I just don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on like a 4 gig SSD drive although that would solve everything, but I continue though to have weird problems with like USB. Like I'm starting to think it might be something up with the USB on my case. Like the USB-C port on my case is never very fast. And even when I plug in to the motherboard, like it has 2 USB 4 plugs. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting Which, you know, again, could be to what Riverside says, like, something's weird with my hardware, and I get it, but, there's only so many PCI lanes to go around, and I'm jamming everything in there. It's interesting that, motherboards for, again, I don't have the highest end one, but motherboards for the Ryzen CPU I have, like, if you use 3 SSDs, like, 2 of them get sort of their lanes cut in half instead of having enough for everybody. I don't know how much that impacts recording. I have my main footage drive on supposedly the PCI 5 one that doesn't have to share in the event of other drives getting plugged in. But, like, you know, Blackmagic makes these really nice HDMI capture cards that can do 4 cameras at once, and, you know, not that I need that at all, but then it needs like a PCI 8 lane, and then then you start, yeah, it's just that's all the stuff you start to have to think about. Ooh, this guy's gonna be a bit. Okay, let's start putting some bleeds on him. And I did not have a PCI 8 lane available. So it says there's more reinforcements, but what am I supposed to be? Enemy grow desperate. Because I'm holding steady on my morale. I'm basically just firing off healing gambits. Now I'm getting a little healing from an ally there. Alright, the enemy commander has fallen. Rout any who remain. Do any remain? Victory, my brethren. The fortress has fallen and the road to Dol Guldur is ours. We've done it. Your valiant strength has brought us this day, Black Lodge. With the fall of this cur, the orcs are broken and no strength of theirs can stay our advance until we stand athwart the gates of Dol Guldur itself. The fortress is ours now, and the orcs have been sent reeling back to Where are we exactly? Okay. Now we must make haste to claim the roads that lie between the Murk Eaves and the Necromancer's dark abode. I am planned to make base amongst the ancient ruins of Eminlum. May fate brings to... Okay, so I wonder if that's the point of the instancing, because now this will become the base of operations. Or... victory in the Murk Eaves was swift. Still, we must maintain the supply line against the enemy.
For good or ill, we now have no choice but to embark upon this journey.
I'm glad to see you survive the opening stage of our assault. It's thanks in no small part to your efforts that our advance upon Dol Guldur has been only lightly impeded by the servants of the enemy. Our forces now advance through the forest of Mirkwood to claim Eminlum, well to the east, but there is much to be done before we can reach it. Gird yourself well. The blackest of terrors yet stand before us. I will indeed gird. Okay, I gotta go clear some inventory.
I fear we are
Always a fascinating part of the process. Let's repair a minimum and let's start selling. Yep. Sure, quilted leggings. Nope. Gorgeous furs. Nope. Nope. I don't even know. Let's get rid of those. They're level 50. 45. Let's get rid of those. Yeah, let's hold on to that. I'll level into that one. Alright, so did I swap? If I do this, I get a bump in vitality, but I'm going to lose any bonuses from having the full set. And maybe that's worth it? I don't know. I'm always talking about I want the vitality, but I'll hold on to these for now. Okay, so let's, now we should have enough room to hand this in.
For good or ill, we now have no choice but to embark upon this journey.
Okay, we've completed the foreword. Nice.
The Golden Host is ready now to begin the passage into Mirkwood.
It was not easy, but we have made the crossing and expelled the orcs from their fort atop Amon Agoned. The Golden Host is now ready to begin the passage into Mirkwood. I hope we're not wrong in this. A great deal is at stake.
We have made the landing, but now the second party must cross.
Now you must return to Imlad Lalaith and tell Bracklin that we have seized our first foothold across the river. It is time for the second party to cross, for it is they who hold the stealthy undertaking of bringing Mazog to Dol Guldur in trade for the dwarf prisoners. The launch officer, Kalangoth, near the boats, will ferry you back to Lothlorien. I will see to the rest of the preparations necessary for Echad Syrian to serve as the camp for our first excursions into Mirkwood. Alright. Now we, I assume, make our way back. Yeah, it must be a Lothlorien thing, because now I'm back down to like the 60 FPS counters where I was getting the full Monty in Mirkwood. I mean, I'm sure like the vMix is not helping, but
The first crossing was a success then. Good, good.
first crossing was a success. That means it's time for the second, smaller company to cross the Anduin. I will bring you to meet them. After all, you will be assisting these elves with the transport of Mazog to Dol Guldur, and the way will be fraught with danger. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll introduce you to them. I am ready,
Are
sir.
you ready to meet the party responsible for bringing
This is a
Mazog
solo
to
quest and
Dol
cannot be
Guldur?
completed with a fellowship. That's okay. Fellowships only slow me down. I move faster alone. Sadness. Okay. Are you ready to meet the company? Yeah, let's do it.
The Golden Host of Lothlorien has crossed the river Anduin, but now a second smaller party must follow in its wake. These are the elves of the Hidden Guard. chosen to bring the prisoner Marzog to the gates of Dol Guldur.
Lord Celeborn and Lady Galadriel have determined that the elves of Lothlorien must stand allied with the dwarves of Moria, as long ago they once did. They've selected a number of elves to oversee the passage of Mazog through Mirkwood to Dol Guldur, where the orc will be exchanged for the prisoners held by the enemy in that fortress. I'll bring you to the elves, the Hidden Guard, as they make their preparations. Okay, this way. I'll introduce you. Hidden Guard is composed of 5 elves chosen for their skill in various disciplines. You too will be a member of the Hidden Guard. I know your help will be invaluable. Allow me to introduce Radir, Sigileth, and Akardor, 3 members of the Hidden Guard. Alright. Sup. Lord Celeborn was against my coming, but Lady Galadriel spoke on my behalf, and he relented. Sounds like I'm getting a little TMI on the internal politicking of the marriage of Celeborn and Galadriel. Okay. My brother Fangris was slain by orcs that came down from the mountains following the company that sought refuge in the Golden Wood recently, and I desired to end Mazog's life myself. It pains me to know we must turn him over to his allies, and I have argued long against it already. I petitioned Lord Celeborn to let me accompany the group transporting the prisoner, but he denied my request. Only once Lady Galadriel spoke to him did he change his mind. I do not know what she said, but I am grateful for her for it. Now, I will keep a close eye upon Mazog for the duration of my journey, and if he gives me the slightest reason, I will take my vengeance upon him. All right. It's not very honorable, but yeah, if we could get the dwarves and then just knife Mazog in the back and renege on the deal, I'm for it. I am Sigilith, and I know already of your deeds. You are welcome to accompany us upon this errand, though I have my doubts as to its wisdom. It is a sorrow that the dwarves have lost their own to the cages of the enemy, but that is the way of war. Returning Mazog to his allies seems indefensible to me. But if Lord Celeborn and Lady Galadriel see value in it, it's not the place of Sigilith to question. Talking of yourself in the third person, always a baller move. Okay. Especially if you put, like, the in front of it. Hey, the Sigilith only knows what the Sigilith only knows, right, baby? Okay. I can bring us by secret way to Dol Guldur, okay? Sure. It's a pleasure to meet you. I know that you will be a great asset to us upon this errand. If we are to bring the orc leader to Guldur, nailed it, to Dol Guldur, with the hope that we exchange his freedom for that of the dwarf prisoners, we must do so in secret. Our numbers are not so great that we can resist a determined effort to take him from us before reaching the fortress. Okay. Sounds like, people are, hey, I'm willing to trust the Lord and Lady, but if I had it my way, I'd cut this bitch's throat. So they are not happy with Mazog getting to survive. The Elves of the Hidden Guard were chosen for their varied expertise in a number of areas. Sigilith for her skill in melee combat, and Radir for his expert tracking ability. Were it my decision, I might have let Akardor join the main force of the Malindrum rather than the Hidden Guard, given the most recent tragedy of his brother's death. Yeah, he could have just went there and went nuts. But I'm sure Lady Galadriel had her own reasons, and believes he'll be an important part of the Hidden Guard. Okay. Come with me, Black Lodge. I will introduce you to Israel and somebody else. Israel was offered strategic. I don't know why. She thought others might be better suited for leadership. And then Querqueron or something. Okay, the history of the elves, okay. My Gavanen, Black Lodge. It's good to see you again, and I welcome you to the ranks of the Hidden Guard, the knives of Sigilith, the bow of, I don't know how to say, the Kukaran, the path knowledge of Radir, and the strong will of Akador. We'll see this mission through. And the friendship between Moria and Lothlorien will be stronger for it. Let the enemy quake when he learns of the approach of the Golden Host, and he will think nothing of the hidden guard until we be at the gates of Dol Guldur and demand the prisoners kept there in exchange for the life of Mazog. I gotta tell you, the folks inside the fortress of Dol Guldur don't seem like the type that would care. Mazog. Like, there's 10 of those guys, just pull another one up. But, alright, we'll see what happens. My bow, Kumaith, is the deadliest I've ever crafted. I've sworn never to fire in anger. Welcome, we are the Hidden Guard formed by order of the Lord and Lady, and it is our mission to bring Mazog to the gates of Dol Guldur. There to trade his life for those of the prisoners held in that fortress, secrecy is our watchword, and surprise our ally. Suriel told me you already... Suriel has already told me of your great deeds. I know you will be a vital member of the Hidden Guard on this journey. Talk to Karakes? Oh, there we go. It's my pleasure to guide the Hidden Guard across the river on this, the first trip of their journey. May it end in victory. Okay. Talk to Radir. We're landed. We've made the crossing. The dwarves should be just ahead with their captive. Let us greet them and discuss plans for our journey. I hope Broin and the dwarves understand the importance of this errand's secrecy. The dwarves of the Iron Galaxy are not known for... That's the thing I was just thinking. No, it's a stealth mission. We got a whole pack of dwarves. Okay. Hail, dwarves. I am Radir of Lorien. You already know my ally, Black Lodge, a warden of great worth and bravery? Damn right. We do. Yeah, sup, bro. I am Broin, son of Brogur, and these are the brothers Greyhammer. We go to Dol Guldur to trade the Orc Mazog for the freedom of my cousin Bori. Am I to understand that you know the paths of this unpleasant forest? I know the ways of Mirkwood, for I trod them long ago to the very foundations of Dol Guldur. The elves of my company, the Hidden Guard, will bring Mazog there by these paths. You will not make it a league. The orcs of Mirkwood will descend upon you and free me. Latu Gazumars Bagu. I don't even care if I said that right. He is frightened, though it not be of us. Think you so, Isuriel? It is the strength of we dwarves that frightens him. Everybody's just like, chest out. Mazog is frightened of being brought to Dol Guldur. But why? Are his allies not there? What would cause him to fear that place? That makes me all the more eager to bring him there. Let him quake upon the road. Come here, Black Lodge. At last we are underway. If you have faith in these elves, this hidden guard, then I will as well. I like that passive-aggressive air quotes. May our journey through Mirkwood be swift, and our return trip be the swifter, with Bori and the other captives hale and hearty. Let's do it. Talk to... Okay, let us see the camp of the elves. All right.
For good or ill, we now have no choice but to embark upon this journey.
It has now begun, Black Lodge, for good or ill. We now know how... I just said that. May both aims of the Maladrim see victory in the end. The rescue of the prisoners held by the enemy in Dol Guldur, and the delay of an attack out of Mirkwood upon Lothlorien. Oh, that's some pretty high stakes. I mean, again, river crossings, always tough, but yeah, we don't want Lothlorien to start taking heat.
The success of the Hidden God's errand will depend, I think, upon secrecy.
It's sort of built into the name, right? The Hidden Guard's errand, the success depends on a full frontal assault and tons of nudity. I mean, of course it's the secrecy. Okay, we must ensure that the orcs of Mirkwood do not learn of Mazog's presence beneath the eaves, or they will surely launch an attack upon us in such number we cannot repel them. To the southeast are 2 forts from which the orcs of Mirkwood maintain a watch over this part of the forest. Search any coffers you find at Madhul Ulur and Ajurg Malfulug for orc communications, and defeat any of the Toghash you find in the Murkies as you do. If you can return to me with any plans or messages that mention Mazog, we can determine how to proceed. If they're aware we brought him out of Moria, we may need to act more quickly. Rumors of Mazog. Okay, so what do we need to do? Find a coffer in blah 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 and blah blah blah, and defeat certain kinds of orcs. Okay. So I assume, again, we've hit this camp about 7 times, but let's hit it again. I know they're going to have some of the Toghash things that we need to kill, so we'll start chipping away at that. Yeah, it's really crazy. This can't get too. I don't want to get too close to it anyway. I don't want that sexy Joe Rogan. But yeah, getting a little whiffs here and there makes my head spin a little bit. But vanity trumps all. I'd rather have the blue. I could put the original windscreen. You know, there was one that came out recently. I've seen reviews of it where they pop this thing off, and it's like a high-end like pop filter that you then sort of use elastic to grip onto the exposed capsule. But I don't know if I. And then it supposedly, you know, it impacts, you know, because this changes the sound a little bit, right? Apparently it's more neutral in terms of the sound. Oh, this is the big, okay, yeah, so this is how it changed, right? Like, we took this out and we knocked this area around, and now it's returned to nature. The boars have taken over. And so indeed, the things I thought would be here are not. The creatures I had to kill. I'm just going to make my way to the different forts to do the coffers and hope I get enough on the way of the Toghash. So that I don't need to specifically hunt those guys down. This part of it might be easier than I expected, because it seems like this whole thing is just dripping with the exact people we need to wreck. Had a little bit of slowdown there. It didn't seem to, in the picture at least, but it was like the inputs were a little sluggish. I have a feeling I'm going to be coming back for Morshar Pat at some point, but that day is not today. See if I can get by. Nope. How many of these guys jump when I hit Morshar Pat here? Let's do it. I'm trying to pull him by himself because it's his signature. Get some bulls rushes to hit both of them. Some big, I don't know if it's burst down, I don't know what it is, but just like... Okay, you find a letter addressed to Mazog. Inventory overflow. Okay. I'm going to click the coin because of inventory overflow. I just want to deal with some of this real quick.
The Great Eye sees much, but Lorien is hidden from him.
Let's see, what do we got? Let me lock that down. Man, I just feel like... I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing with my legendary weapons, or do I just give up and just be like, whatever? Shield of Stamina. I'm gonna keep what I got. Goal, let's see, bracelets. Maximum power. Do I need that, though? Don't need that. I probably should want power. I should be... There's a lot of things I should be min-maxing here, and I'm not. Let me lock that down. I probably should, like, not worry about this stuff anymore. Elegant scale. Yeah, don't care about that. Why am I... whatever. By the time I figure out which armor I actually prefer, it won't matter because the next set will be on the horizon, so... Okay. Okay, let's bring the report for Mazog.
Let me see what you have found.
Okay, you found a report addressed to Mazog in the coffer of the orc leader of Ashur's Maufulung. Let me see. Fortune is with us, my adventurous warden. These orcs do not yet know we have captured Mazog and brought him to Mirkwood. They think he resides still in Moria. The errand of the hidden guard remains secret. The problem arose while you were away. Oh, a problem. A dwarf of Browine's, Greyhammer, a dwarf of Browine's company, has become increasingly agitated about the plans of the Golden Host. Speak with him here, if you would, and assure him that what we are doing all that we may to make this journey a safe one. Okay, so we just hit our first snag, partly my doing, but it's good to know. I ran out of hard drive space, and the reason why is because I forgot to delete the Strider mode session that I did, which was taking up like 800 gigabytes of space. But it also means that like ProRes HQ at 1440p, hour and 40 minutes, takes up almost a terabyte of space. So I'm gonna, maybe that 4 terabyte SSD is gonna be in my future at some point. So I just don't have to think about it. Because if you do a 3-hour session, so what I did is I dropped the ProRes down to standard quality instead of high quality. I think it should be not that different once you crunch it down to YouTube level, but okay. At last, someone who will listen to me. I might have known it would be you, Black Lodge. You are held in great esteem by my lords Bosi and Brogur, and have proven yourself a friend to the Iron Garrison. You will be my friend, too, of the Greyhammers. These elves do not have the experience with orcs that we Greyhammers do. Oh, they seem understanding enough when I recount that many grievances of my family have suffered at the hands of Mazog and his forebears, but I can tell they think I exaggerate. Do I exaggerate the wounding of my grandfather, Thormar, at Zanul Bizarre, who walked with a limp ever after, or the curse levied against my father, Tandri, by Bolg himself, that he never again find valuable ore in the deeps? I just want these elves to acknowledge how dangerous Mazog is, even if in captivity. I just want to feel seen, says Luth. And I'm willing to cause a ruckus.
Mazog will account for all slights in time.
I
both
see.
Real and imagined.
I admire the determination of the Greyhammers, and I'm sure that Luth and the rest of his family will be a great help to the Golden Host, but I hope he will spend more time with his duties and less time explaining the various grievances he bears against the orcs. We've all suffered at their hands, and Luth no more than the rest of us. Akardor might say he has suffered less than some. Mazog will account for all slights in time, both real and imagined. Radir spoke to me while you sought the dwarf. It's time to bring Mazog deeper into Mirkwood.
Radir has planned a course through Mirkwood that avoids some of its overt dangers.
But this first leg may be treacherous. The path he has chosen winds through the fetid marshlands of the Drownholt. He names it Rod Kenned, and he tells me it should be orc-free. But Radir spoke of other hazards, the like of which we may not expect. Spongy earth that clings to the foot, thickets of briars that will catch clothing and armor and break your concentration. Yeah, that sounds less bad than orcs, but you and the other members of the Hidden Guard will need to be cautious of these and other dangers if you travel through Drownholt, unless they have a very good reason to do so. Keeping beneath the enemy's notice until Mazog is at his doorstep is one such reason. Speaking with me again, we're ready to go. So
The Hidden Guard departs for Radir's course through the Drownholt at midnight.
So what I learned with vMix when it runs out of disk
The first
space.
leg of the Hidden Guard's journey will take them through the treacherous fens of the Drownholt, a perilous road, but a necessary one when secrecy is so highly prized.
vMix was able to stop and save my recording, so I didn't lose anything. But it did kill the secondary recording I had of my camera, I think. So that file didn't work. We have come part of the way, but there is a long way to go. The Drownhold is perilous, and while Radir has chosen our road with care, we must still use caution. The rest of the Hidden Guard have gone on ahead, for we cannot move as a group if we are to maintain our secrecy. You will bring Mazog to the members of our company further ahead in the fen. Did you hear that? Something approaches. I will leave the coordination of our attack in your hands. Shout your commands of me by this banner, and we will repel whatever evil approaches. My talents are for the restoration of morale and power, though they will be of no use for our prisoner. Do not let Mazog sustain injury. Okay, use the banner of the Golden Host to issue support commands. Okay, let's see. Let's do morale. So that's good to know about like vMix and like losing the file, not losing the file. But it concerns me because like, I did an hour and 40 minutes, took a terabyte of data. So if my drive is almost completely empty, I can only do like 3 hours, 20 minutes or so. And sometimes these sessions take longer than that. So hopefully, again, dropping it down to standard quality gives me a little more room to play. But hopefully I can speed through the rest of it, get it to fit, and then I'll have to figure out what to do going forward. It does seem like a 4 terabyte drive would solve everything, but I just don't really have the money to keep dumping into, like, I upgraded the computer and Mazog's doing okay. Okay, that's all of them. Okay, we've done well to repel the creepers, but there will be more, I'm sure of it. We must protect Mazog from their barbs and grasping tendrils, though our hearts may not be fully in it. Make certain his shackles are secure and travel forward with him. Okay. You ensure that Mazog's shackles are secure. The orc sneers at you, and his eyes glow yellow with hate. So he's going to lead me through the briars. Okay, watch your footing. One misstep and you'll drown in the mud. Are you enjoying this tour of the swamp? Perhaps another briar thicket will help. Too bad. The bow elf is still alive. The passage so far has gone smoothly, but our fortunes in this miserable swamp can change in a moment. If we let down our guard, so we must not. If you stand by this banner and shout your commands for me, I can provide support in battle. Arrows I let fly can slow the attack speed of our foes or make difficult their movement. Additionally, I can pepper our enemies with such a flight of shafts that their general defenses are broken. I'm going to go with defenses are broken, because that'll help me bring the thunder. But yeah, what else worked? The system of marking in vMix worked perfectly. Basically, I set up a button on my stream deck to play a sound file, like I was saying, on its own channel. That came through in DaVinci Resolve exactly as I hoped. Making so much noise. I hope we do not draw unwanted attention. We will. See if I can get a boar's rush. Over here, Manflesh awaits. My captors are weak from battle. Ooh. What in the name of Elder King were those? I've not seen creatures of that sort within a league of Lothlorien. They fill me with disgust. Still, we triumphed over them, and Kumaith has many arrows left in reserve. There's a tunnel just ahead. It lies upon the route Radir selected for us. I do not wish to bring Mazog through there until we know it's clear. I'll stay here and guard Mazog, enter the tunnel, and clear it. Then we can bring the orc safely through. So yeah, basically I'm a little worried about this because we're only on chapter 2. And I only have space for like another hour and a half. So I'm nervous this might be a multi-parter. I don't know or maybe there's just not that many chapters because there's a lot of a foreword. But again, you're sort of seeing the sausage get made as I try and convert to vMix. You hear footsteps in the water as Radir enters the... Hello, where's Mazog? Something tells me this is going to go poorly. You explain Kukuran's desires that you clear the tunnel, and Radir nods. Okay, that's a good idea. The creepers have remained asleep for Sigilith and I to pass through, but of course Mazog would have sought to awaken them at the worst possible moment. Kukuran is perhaps more canny than I gave him credit for. Radir seems to think for a moment, and then he haltingly begins... I came back here because I thought I saw someone I knew, a friend, but it could not be, for this friend has not walked this way for many a year and has since gone where none may follow. If I did not know better, I would have sworn it was he, but here there is nothing but creepers. It was a trick of the light, my error in the dim. Foreshadowing. Okay, tell, what's his name that we're back. If you know the stories at all, you can potentially guess who they're hinting at. Okay, the tunnel's clear. Good. I fought off some more fen lizards, but it was nothing I could not handle. Ensure that Mazog's shackles are secure. Let's do it again. You check his shackles. They remain secure. He stares assessingly. It's an interesting adverb. At you, which is somehow more disconcerting than the usual sneer. Are you sure you want to go in that scary cave, Black Lodge? This caves bring back memories. I've slain foes just like you in caves just like this. Cave is damp. Must be unpleasant for you, man. I've read that, like, the difference between high quality and standard, oh, she's alive, that's a pity, is mostly negligible when you're recording. It matters if you start doing other stuff later on, but when we're going to compress it down to YouTube, I'm hoping that doesn't matter with the quick times. According to Radir, this is the midpoint of Rad Khaned, the road that he's chosen for us to take through the Drownholt. You're lucky, Mazog, that we have need of you alive. Were it my decision to make, or Akador's, you would have been slain already and left to rot within one of the fetid pools of this swamp. Mazog says nothing, and Sigilith continues, This banner of the Golden Host will allow you to select a support role for me during the battle. I can draw lifeblood of our foes, or provide morale and power support. I'll choose morale and power. Make our enemies bleed. I can heal myself, if need be. Okay. More creepers. Okay. Thought you secured the tunnel. Yeah, I guess I'm just not very good at my job. And I don't appreciate the tone with which you insinuate that I completely flubbed my assignment. I wonder how much the bleeding's actually doing. Oh, it's not nothing. 83 every 4. Okay. So it's about 20 points a second. Come forth. Rip them, tear them, kill them. Surely there must be more of you. Come, feed on my captors. Vile insects. The only thing you can do is disappoint. I say that to insects all the time. We've done well to repel these attacks, ensure that Mazog's shackles remain secure, and bring him further into the drown hold. Okay. We're going to encounter Red Deer further along. Another appraising stare. This little journey no longer amuses me, Black Lodge. I grow tired of planning your demise and all these elves. I want to just get there. Hey, you and me both, brother. With a sinking heart, you notice the body of an elf besides the stagnant pool. Uh-oh. You call his name and try to get a response from the elf, but it is already too late. Red Deer is dead. There are no signs of a struggle or any mark of an injury that you can see, but despite that puzzle, one thing is clear. The hidden guard has lost one of its own. Secure the shackles. What a delight. Look how fall the elves. Oh. Because I had to restart? Okay. It's just an awkward phrasing. Look how fall the elves that seek to imprison me one by one. Perhaps you'll be next. Man, that deserves it so. So end all enemies of Mazog, Lord of the Caves. No shackle can bind me forever. And if my hands be bound, let my legs carry me to the allies that must have done this. The allies that even now seek to free me from bondage. Oh, orcs of my distant kin, you seek to free Mazog, and he will be free with the rewards of generosity. He's trying to escape. Reach Akardor before he does. Unearthly torches mark the path of the ruins where Akardor awaits, unsure of the danger. Okay, so I guess I take the... that's a bunch of bullshit that he can just run through the sludge full speed. Or maybe I'm supposed to do something differently? I don't know. Why am I slow there? What? Mazog is free? I fear to think what might have happened if he had caught me unaware. Can't talk here. We have blocked the orc's escape, but we must now gather the rest of the hidden guard and devise a new plan. Without Radir. Akadorn's face is a storm cloud of emotions. He brings himself under control, but it is clearly an effort. We must rejoin the Maladrim. There is a village called Audagame among the dower stocks. The plan was for the main body of the Maladrim to use it as a supply point before advancing further into Mirkwood. We must go there and discuss what's to be done. Okay. Follow Akador into the cellar to check on Mazog. I will watch him, Broeen. I will watch him until we have no further use for him. And then I will kill him. I will kill him for Red Deer. We will see, Elf Flesh. By my count, you are running out of friends. No, not yet. But soon, Mazog. Soon. Let's see what Broween has to say. The journey has already cost us a great deal, and with every loss it becomes more difficult to keep this wretch alive. I cannot stand to look at him. To tally up the pain he has already cost us would take a long while already, and I worry he is not done adding to it. Let us leave this cellar for now. Akador will watch him, and Sigilith and the others will watch Akador. Okay, we've completed the instance. Talk to Kukaran at the front porch of the Haunted Inn. So it looks like we've got like ourselves a little base of operations. Let's not go to the Bleak Cellar. Celtic Social Club. Let me unlock this Stable Master.
What can I do for you?
Where are we? Okay, we made a little further. You know, we started there. We've made our way to the Dower Stocks, and we're going to keep heading east, I imagine, throughout the story. Chapter 3.
I do not know what we can do.
Only Radr knows upon what paths he planned to bring us to Dol Guldur. That seems like an oversight. With our captive, and without him, the secret ways are veiled to us. I fear our errand stands on the very brink of failure before it's begun. Let's see what we got. Boots. Let's take the medium boots.
I know Radir would be wroth if we were to abandon her.
Okay, we got inventory, and then we need our character. Let's see if we can get these new boots on. If I can find them. Got so much crap in here. I need to... dump it. Now, why am I not... Oh, first of all, let's get this going. That was an oversight. Let's, second of all... Like, again, I should be dumping all of these. Like, who cares? I should use these, because, again, who cares? I mean, I should care, but I just don't. Let's sort these again. Here we go. Here's the new boots. Okay. That's a start. We must persevere, Black Lodge, though we grieve for Radir. The road he planned to take us is unknown to us, but his mind is not. I know he would be wroth if we were to abandon hope. But we need some time to decide what to do. Instead of dwelling upon our losses, I want you to offer your strength to Dundurian here in Audagheim. He has planned a number of strikes against important locations in Mirkwood, and the Golden Host could use your honed skills as a warden. Aid him with whatever skirmish he has. Ugh. Okay. You heard it there in my excitement. Go do a skirmish. It just struck me instantly as padding.
My elves prepare for another skirmish, a strike against the ruins of Dunanglaw.
But maybe it'll be interesting. Megavanen been charged with maintaining blah blah blah. Let's just do a strike, whatever, who cares? Oh, right. Yeah. And again, the only reason I'm all panicky because of the drive space issue. Let's see. Skirmish panel. How do I do that? And we're looking to do strike against... God. The skirmish panel lets me... The skirmish panel, it lets me modify my helper in the skirmish. But it didn't give me... the list. So is it like an epic battle? Nope. The battle map panel, okay. This could be interesting, but not at the moment. So you want the instance finder, I guess. Can I search? I'm not seeing a search. Epic battles. What I want is the strike against... Can I not search? This is, Is there a way to just do it from here? Okay. Let's see what it says. The quest involves a skirmish that can be completed at solo... Okay. The skirmish join panel. Where's the skirmish join panel? This may be a two-parter. I might just be like, what the... I might need to stop and be like, you know what, I've had enough of this recording. Because I just don't care. On some level, so then having to hunt around. Character, skirmish, no. Again, it seems like the skirmish would do the trick. And it is not the case. So I'm not sure what to do. So, all right. How long has this been running? Let me, again, why am I not finding the skirmish? Solo quests, instance. Let me just skirmish join. I'm looking at my phone, really quickly because this seems ludicrous. Lotro skirmish join panel. Okay. It says Control J. Okay, the instance finder. Okay. Now we're looking for one that's level 60. Let's see, my instances? No. I'm looking for strike against, and again, there's no search. Oh, no, here we go. Strike. There is. I'm not seeing it. Let me get rid of the level. Let's try this again. Strike. Okay. So we've got somebody here like a burglar looking to do a group, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very specific DANN. No. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause it here. I'm gonna call this session. I'm gonna try and figure out exactly what I need to do. But yeah, we got a couple hours. We'll do book 9 as a two-parter, or you know what? Or maybe I'll come back and see how it's going if I can figure this out. So we'll pause for now. I'll do a little research, and we'll come back again. Normally, if I were not on camera, I could hide this. I could sort of cut around it, but getting the full ugly. So be back in a little bit.